Hello, guys, and welcome. It's been a while since I've made a YouTube video, and I just wanted to try out modeling this thing that I posted on Instagram a few days ago. So it's basically just a controller, and yeah, I'll take you through the simple steps from getting from a default cube in Blender to this one. So here we go, guys. Okay, first up, I have Blender just opened up. Let's try a general one here. We have the default cube, we have a light, and we have a camera. And basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to add in a new collection, which I will call scene. And I'm going to add the camera and the light in there. And I'm going to rename this collection to gamepad. All right. So now we have the cube here. I'm just going to hide my scene setup because I'm going to focus on the cube here. Um, Basically, the cube is press N. You can see how big it is. It's way too big, so I'm just gonna start by scaling it down. So 0.2 by 0.2 by 0.2, making it very, very tiny. Here we go. But yeah, I think it will work better if I do this. And then we're gonna hit Control A to apply all scales. And now we're good to go on start modeling. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually go in to my modifier tab here, modifier properties, and add a subdivision surface modifier. Gonna up the levels viewport to 4 and also render to 4. Then I'm gonna go in, you can still see the small edges, so I'm gonna go into normals and auto smooth here under the properties manager or the update data properties. Gonna right click out here, shade smooth. All right, so now we have somewhat of a circle, but not really a sphere. But if I hit the tab to go into edit mode, you'll see what I have here. I can start actually modeling my gamepad. So clicking Y and then selecting, hitting, the 2 or the 3 in this case to select basically just to select the bottom here, and then grabbing, hitting G and the Z axis to grab it up to more or less here. And then from here, we're gonna start modeling. I'm just gonna grab this one, grab, hitting the G and the Y to get it here. And there we sort of have a basic shape. We could, like, if we wanted to, just gonna undo that. Okay, we're here now. This is a good place to start. So, first off, before I'm gonna go in doing a lot of things to both sides, I'm actually gonna go into my click 1 and then delete these vertices by selecting them by dragging, hitting the delete button, and delete the vertices, so I only have these. Go into my number 2 here, and you can do a lot of things to select. And then I'm just gonna select the edges, extrude them, and I still have this out here, and it doesn't work, so I'm gonna hit 3 and select this face and delete that face. Now I have something that I can start with because I want to add in another modifier, which is the mirror modifier, as you can see here. And then we're going to hit the clipping, so I'll make sure that whenever I have the vertices by clicking 1, whenever I have the vertices selected here, and I'm going to grab it and move it along the x-axis, it won't move past this point. It will sort of merge with the other thing here, with the other end here, which means I only have to do my modeling on one side, which is nice. All right, so now that we've done that, I'm gonna hit the Control R to add in a loop cut. I'm gonna add here and then move it sort of up here. And then I'm gonna go into my side view here, select, just making sure that I have the X-rays selected up here. And then I'm gonna drag to select all these vertices, rotate it ever so slightly. No, wait, I'm gonna do that later. Right now I'm just gonna focus on getting the loop cut up here. And then I want to hit the 3 to select my faces. Then I'm gonna extrude those instead. So maybe here, just hit the top view, rotate the ones I still have selected. So maybe something like that. Then I'm gonna go in and select these two faces here, and then hit E to extrude it. All right, now we're getting somewhere, right? Actually, just go up to the top view again. I'm just gonna grab these along the wire, extrude a little bit more. Then I still have X-ray selected, so I'm gonna drag all these faces out by grabbing them along the X-axis just a little bit to get the proportions a little bit better. Gonna take this one, grab this outer. Oh wow, that doesn't work. I won't do that. Well, I could do that if I added another loop cut. So Control R to this point and then move it very slightly here. If I then do the selection to this one and grabbing it, it wouldn't. That still looks a little bit weird. I'll just rotate a little bit to maybe here, and then I'm gonna hit the 2 to select these, but by dragging and then grabbing it along the x-axis, grabbing it out here a little bit. So now I get a sort of a slight bump. You can see that if I turn off this. Great. Kind of like this. And I'm actually gonna do by selecting the faces here by clicking 3. I'm gonna extrude these out. So E for extrude. Quite happy, and just leave it there by left clicking, and then it sort of just stays there. You sort of define that edge there. What can I do more? Actually, I want to. So this seems a little bit, straight. So when I select again, making sure I have the X-ray on, I'm gonna take this one, rotate it up, and then move it, grabbing it along the Z axis to move it up a little bit. And then I'm actually gonna select these ones here, just making sure I've selected the right ones. And now I don't need these ones up here, so Shift to deselect those. And then I'm gonna rotate these down. So again, into my side view, rotate. Nope. I'll add this one as well, and then rotate. And then grab along the C to sort of this level, maybe a little bit further down. So basically what I'm getting is sort of a tapered edge here. I kind of like that, so pretty good to go. We actually more or less have a shape that we can use for going further. I could pick the 2 and sort of tweak some of these curves a little bit if I wanted to have a little bit more here, grabbing it, moving it. Oh, and of course that didn't work because I have 2. But this one could also be interesting. Let's just see if I select the go selected. Yeah, now I have selected both of them. So I'm going to grab this. Yeah, I'm going to move that. Both of them. Again, going into this view and just grabbing it, moving it a little bit up. Maybe not up, but a little bit in, so it has this sort of angle to it. I think that would be nice. So going way into the model. Out again here. Yeah, that's kind of starting to look nice. Okay, so that's basically, we can do a lot more tweaking. Like, let's say I want to add in some geometry around here. I could by just making making this thing, and then choosing the insets faces, going all the way. You can see what happens over there on the left side, but if I make it sort of small and then hitting E, you can see I get this area over here. And hitting E again, it'll be very sharply defined. So I actually have 3 very on top of each other up here. It's maybe not the best way to model it, but you get a really nice sharp edge here. Could probably also, let me just try something out here. If I, oh, whoop, what happened? Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, something happened where I deleted something, I think. It looks like I deleted my mirror modifier, so I'm just gonna add that again. Okay, step away from the modifier tab and over here. So basically, with these two selected, just grab it to see where I'm, yeah. So this is the only two I have. So if I extrude them ever so slightly up here, and then maybe going into my edge mode and select the edges that I would like. Oh, here we go. These ones, and then right click and then say mark sharp. Will anything happen? No, unless I go into my advanced tab here, use creases. Yeah, all right. So maybe it's because I don't, these are not creased. So C, crease, edge crease. Oh yeah, see now something is starting to happen. I can crease it up and make it look sharp without having to add another surface. All right, good. So that sort of concludes the first part of it, where I have the basic shape. And I can keep tweaking that in all sorts of angles, but I'm quite happy with this. Okay, that was the first part of the tutorial. I'm just going to move on to adding some buttons, okay? But before I'm going to do that, I have to sort of make sure that I do some general housekeeping. So first off, I need to save it. I just saved it as gamepad for tutorial. The next thing I need to do is I'm going to duplicate this one. So Shift D and then left click or right click, sorry. So I have a cube here, which is going to be my original. Then I have this cube, which is the one I'm going to use forward. So I'm going to drag my original out here, and then I have the gamepad up here, which is the one I'm still going to be working on. This is to make sure that if, let's say, I wanted to go back into my subdivisions and redo some of this stuff on and tweak the shape and some stuff like that, I would have to, if I go in and I apply these subdivisions on this one, which I actually wanted to, and then apply the mirror modifier here, I would have this suddenly, which is very, very nice and useful for going forward, but not as useful if I wanted to do some changes. So that's why I keep sort of the original, so I can modify that and do another copy with a few tweaks, right? So it's a good thing to just make sure you have the original. And then if you wanted to work, let's say I'm just going to hide this one. If you wanted to work from this one, again, Shift D, right click, so you have a version 2, and then maybe, start modifying that here. Again, by using the tab and then go in and select whatever you want to select. Go up here, grab, move it out there. This actually looks better. Rotate it maybe, or rotate like this. Extrude it again. So that looks weird. I don't want to do that. This is fine. Right? And then you say, okay, but now I modified this. Really happy about that. I also maybe wanted to, let's see here. Can I? Yeah, I can actually maybe press 2 and just select this one and go up again to the top view. See here, grabbing that bit and then moving it down here so I can start controlling this area a little bit more as I wanted to. So again, going back out, you can see that I have this shape now, which is, yeah, you say it's almost the same. So just grab it along the x-axis here, clicking X, and then unhide the original, and you can see sort of quickly you can mock up a few versions of it. So that's quite nice. I'm just gonna hide the original, both in the viewport and also in the render settings, right? Okay. Going back to this one, which is the one I have no modifiers on left. I need to start adding buttons, and what I did was actually very, very simple. Oh, again, last thing to remember, Control A to make sure you have all transforms aligned. It's still very big. It's like 50 centimeters, way too big. So I might scale it down further at the end to make sure I have the right dimensions. This is something that I should have done obviously before, but I haven't done so. Things to remember. Anyway, Shift A to add something. I'm gonna add a mesh. I'm gonna add I want to add a cylinder and a cube. In this case, I'm just gonna add a cube. Scale it down by pressing the S, dragging towards the center. Going up to the top view, and this one. And what I'm trying to do here, again, scaling it around the Y, is making a sort of a racetrack button, scaling it along the C, and then moving up, grabbing it, and moving it up along the C axis by pressing C. Oh, where did it go? Sorry, something went wrong. Oh, there I am. Oh, okay, it can't see anything, so. Oh, I have it here. Nice. All right, cool. Go into edit mode by pressing the tab, and then selection mode is on the lines. So basically just, oh, and this is the thing where you have to remember to go out again to object mode, Control A to apply all transforms, or at least that's the scale. Go back into by clicking the tab again, selecting all the edges here, the edges that you want to select, which I click these ones here, and then hit Control B to do a bevel. And as you can see now, it's 45 degrees. And then I'm gonna pull it all the way to the end. There's probably a better way to do this, but in this case, and then I'm gonna add a few more by using my scroll wheel and scroll upwards, and suddenly you have a sort of a racetrack, which is quite nice. Exiting by pressing the tab. Again, you can see it looks weird. So if I shade smooth, it also looks weird. So go back into my normals over here in the settings, and then auto smooth, and it looks about right. Go back into the tab mode. And this one, by clicking the Alt, you select the whole, so holding down Alt while holding down Alt and then pressing the line that you want to select. You get this one. You again Control B to add a bevel modifier, and then just add a few here, not too many. All right, so now I have sort of a button, big button. Now this could be my start button. So again, going into this mode, rotating it 90 degrees, grabbing it, moving it upwards. I can't see anything, so I'm just gonna hide a little bit and say, okay, so this is my curvature on the side there. If I move it sort of here, you get a big, nice button out there. Let's just zoom out again, back into the shaded viewport editor mode here. Yeah, that's a nice place for, but maybe actually it's a bit too high. So grab it by pressing the G, and then I'm gonna hit the Shift D, and then I'm gonna Shift D to go here, Shift D to go here. It's gonna look a little bit weird, but maybe. And here's the problem: if I had now, it's not easy for me to go in and modify this one, right? This outer shape. So right now it's gonna be like this. But if I had, let's say I just hide this one and then my original one, and then again D, Shift D, left click, hide that one, and then this one, I could go into my tab, and then I actually could select. Go. Could select by using the right selection tool, number 3. This one, for instance, and then grabbing that and moving it down. These four, I could have just said, Shift D to get them over here, but they would have been exactly copy, and I don't want to do that. So instead, what I am going to do is actually add a modifier, which is a mirror modifier again. But before I do that, have to make sure that everything is transformed correctly. Otherwise, the mirror modifier won't do its job correctly. So going back here, I'm adding a modifier, adding mirror modifier. Where did it go? There it is. And now you see it pops up over here, which is great. Um, ah, and that's basically it. So what I want to do actually is I want to select all the others, making sure that the last one with the modifier is the active one. Click on this little one and copy to selected, which means that all of these get the same modifier now, which is fine. Cool. And then, these we should remember to say Control All Transforms. Again, Control A, all transforms, apply those. And then again, going into this one, adding a mirror modifier. And again, selecting the two. Up here, a copy to selected, right? So now we have all the buttons that I need, but I also want to add a USB charging port, which I'm going to add here. So Control Save just to make sure I have it all ready. All right. So how do I do that? I'm gonna again actually gonna copy this one looks about the size as a USB port, so I'm gonna go up here, Shift D to duplicate it, move it around here, rotate it again, rotate by pressing the R and rotate it more or less to something like this. And I'm gonna go into this view and then grabbing it, moving it in here. Now, okay, this is great. So what am I going to do with that? I'm going to merge these two together by using a boolean. But which one? So this one is my up. Right now this didn't work. I actually wanted this one to be my bool, and then I'm gonna, choose the object here by hitting the pipette. No, didn't work. This is again one of the reasons why you should name all your things. This is cube 006 or USB. All right. So going in here, clicking here, locating USB. All right. So now it's it's got the difference to them, which is yeah, let's try that. And then say, all right, apply. And then, the USB is here. So if I hide it, let's just see, it's actually already made it, which is super nice. So let's cut in for the USB. Again, going back into this one would maybe allow me to do this because this one is not deep enough. So going again with this one selected, grabbing it and just moving it inwards would help me create the look that I want. Wait, I got my USB, and also in this case I have the USB here, right? So I actually want to use the USB. So I'm gonna go into tab here, and then I'm gonna go into the side view, that one, and then I'm gonna go press this one, and go into this view, and then go into the skeleton view. I'm in edit mode, so that means that I can zoom in here, and I can delete all these faces, leaving me with only the faces that I want right now. which is this one, and then I'm gonna go out of this one again, and I have this one select here. If I go out of this one and add a solidifier modifier to this stack up, and maybe use instead of 0.1, using 0.03, for instance, I get a sort of quite decent one, and then fill, and then I can actually grab this and move it along the Y, and there you actually have your USB part, which would enable you to, let me just get, looks a little bit odd right now, but now I know why. It's because in this one, isn't it still, yeah, this one is still visible. I'm just going to delete this face as well, allowing me to get a more correct appearance of that, at least slightly. So that sort of concludes this. I hope this all made sense, and you know, you can see that you have buttons and yeah, details added to the divider to the model. Okay, cool. So that's that part. Lastly, wanted to try and quickly add a few materials to it, and then get it, um, just quickly adding a few materials, and then put it into a quick scene. So again, going back into my scene view and hitting the 0 on your numpad, you can see this is not at all going to work for what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to go back again to my regular view, and then I'm going to hit Shift A to add a plane. The plane is not big enough, so I'm going to scale it by hitting the S, scale to maybe 3, and then go into tab, and then go into edit mode by that, and then selecting number 2 to make sure I have the edge selected. Extrude the edge here at the back up along the C axis. So hitting the C, I'll get it extruded up. And then I'm going to select this edge here, and then Control B to add a small bevel on the back here, which is quite nice. I'm quite happy about that. And then shade smooth to make sure I have the smooth shade here. Scale along the Y axis, no, along the X axis to make sure it's longer. Happy about that. So, and then right now I have this one select. Select here, select all by type, no, select grouped. Oh yeah, Shift G. If I hit this and I hit collection, I can select everything that's in this collection, which is great. So Shift G could have helped me there. And then grab it up, move it up. Oh, no, that's not gonna work because this one is in my selection, which is not supposed to be into my gamepad, but actually has to be into my scene. So I'm gonna move that here. This is the backdrop. All right, that's better. So again, one here, Shift G, make sure you choose the collection, and then grab and move it up to along the C axis. And then actually I want to start already now by finding a more or less sweet spot for my view, for my camera, and then go back into my camera just by clicking this one, go up to my edge. This is my typical way of aligning a camera. Click on this one, go into align view, align active camera to your view. We've got this one. It's already now, it's looking quite nice, but if I'm not really happy with this, I can actually go into my viewport here, go into the camera to view. Now to get this menu up, you press N to get it up and N to get it out, so the N menu, as Derek Elliott calls it. Thank you, Derek, for that one. I like that, the N menu. Anyways, it's here. Quite happy with that. Again, this one, Shift G, collection. I'm going to rotate this one along the, well, I'm just going to rotate it here, and then rotate it along the C axis, so that this, right? I'm quite happy with that. Well, actually, no, rotate a little bit more, rotate it, maybe like this, right? And then grabbing it a little bit into the center, If you want to do Instagram, you need maybe to make the format a little bit different. You can also go up here. There's some presets, but actually, and you can make your own presets. So again, I typically do 2000 by 2000, and then you can see again my camera to viewport needs to change a little bit. So do this. Actually, I'm gonna move the camera up here, and then I'm gonna release this one. No, it's a little bit crooked, I can see, so maybe more like this, and then release that one, grabbing the selection one and move it up a little bit here. All right, so this is it, and you can see there's no materials on it right now. The light is this light coming up here, just using Eevee for the moment. Nothing fancy, but that's basically by changing the viewport render mode up here, right? And yeah, so if you click on this one and click on the materials tab here, you can add a material, and you can sort of switch the color to something nice, and if depending on what you want, if it's a gamer vibe or whatever you want it to be, you can, choose your poison basically. And then go into the cube, add a material. Material. Oh, there's already a material here. I don't like that, so I'm gonna add my own new material, and then I'm gonna, of course, I'm gonna go with something like this. Quite nice. Yeah, quite happy with that. It's very red. And then all the white buttons, all the buttons are white, but you can add your own materials to this one, giving it sort of a deep or I don't know, bluish white to that one, and these buttons here. These buttons could have gray material or dark gray, and then you can go in and you can select all the. No, you can actually you can. Well, you can select all the buttons that you want to have the same material, which is not going too well, but try again. Yeah, and then click on the material you want to. Last thing, materials up here. If you click on this small button here, you can say copy material to select it, and sort of you're done, right? Great. Now I'm using Eevee, which is nice for sure. You can also use cycles, and then you get a different type of the look. Now for this, I might go in and do a vertical split here. So I have my viewport up here where it's in focus, and then up here, out here, I actually want to go in and work with the lights. So the lights, so continue hitting one, grabbing the light and moving it down here. Shift D to copy the light, move it over here. Yeah, that's quite nice. But actually, maybe this light that I've selected could be a different type of light. Maybe an area light, and then maybe if I rotate that area light towards, and then choose if I choose a bluish color to that one, and then choose for this one a more orangey color, I get this type of, and then I can see that the back material is not great at this, so maybe just going for a more neutral one would help, like this one, right? So yeah, so that's basically setting it up. And if you're not really happy with the way that it pops, you can also add a few things under the color management. So if you go into the render properties, down to the button, color management, down here there's a look, which you can add a high contrast, and it changes this look a little bit more. Yeah, you can play around with it. But let's just say I'm happy with this one. Just gonna save this. Then I can go into my, I'm already here. You can choose what type of GPU to compute, maybe if you have that enabled. And then you can say how much do you actually want to have in your final render settings, how many samples. I think 100 would be enough, and then you just hit FN F12 if that's what you have, and it will start rendering out your image. So that's basically it. I hope you really enjoyed this. It was a bit longer than I anticipated, but anyway, I hope you can get something good out of it. So good luck and enjoy. Bye.